When you hear the word imagination, what comes to mind? For most people, it's fantasy, daydreaming, a pleasant escape from the grind of daily life. But what if I told you that as a fundamental misunderstanding of one of your mind's most powerful tools? Imagination isn't an escape from reality. It's the primary way your mind tests reality before you have to pay the real-world cost of your actions. We often treat imagination like it's just decoration, something for artists, writers, and creative types. Practical, serious people are supposed to avoid it. This is a huge mistake. Think about it. Every single deliberate action you take, from making a cup of coffee to launching a business, begins as a simulated outcome in your mind. If you couldn't imagine the consequences of your actions, you couldn't act intelligently. You'd just be reacting to the world. Early applied psychologists understood this. They didn't see imagination as some mystical source of inspiration or creativity alone. They saw it as a deeply functional process. They called it the ability to pre-experience outcomes. Your mind rehearses the results before your body commits time, energy, and resources. This is an incredibly efficient system. It saves a ton of energy, and more importantly, it prevents you from making costly, sometimes irreversible errors. Now, this is where a lot of popular advice about visualization goes completely off the rails. You've probably heard it. Just visualize success. See yourself on the podium, holding the trophy. The problem with this approach is that it tells you to imagine the glorious outcome without imagining the messy, difficult process to get there. What does this do? It gives you a nice emotional high, a jolt of feel-good chemicals, without any of the necessary behavioral preparation. Your brain gets the feeling of completion, the reward signal, and so your motivation to actually do the hard work plummets. Your system feels like the job is already done, so it stops moving forward. This is the critical difference between fantasy and simulation. Fantasy conveniently ignores all the constraints, the obstacles, and the hard parts. Simulation, on the other hand, actively includes them. Fantasy feels good. It's easy. Simulation feels effortful, sometimes even a little stressful, but that feeling of effort is the key. It's a signal that your brain is doing real, valuable work. It's grappling with the problem. Successful leaders, brilliant engineers, and sharp strategists don't operate on hope and fantasy. They rely on simulation. They run scenarios in their heads constantly. Simulation is a powerful tool for reducing risk because it makes potential failures visible before they happen in the real world. It forces you to ask the tough, practical questions. Where is the weak point in this plan? What resource is most likely to run out first? What kind of resistance or unexpected problems are we going to face? This isn't about being pessimistic. It's about developing foresight. It's about being prepared. So how can you apply this? Start using your imagination deliberately as a tool. When you have a goal, don't just fantasize about the applause at the finish line. Simulate the entire process. Mentally walk through every single step it will take to get there. Try to feel the friction. Notice the points where your motivation might drop, or where you'll feel tired and want to quit. Identify where you'll need more information or a new skill. If your mental simulation breaks down, if you hit a wall you can't get past in your own mind, that's a gift. It means you found a fatal flaw in your plan. Reality will be far less forgiving. A collapse in your simulation is a warning that your real-world attempt will collapse even faster and more spectacularly. So what do? You adjust the design. You tweak the plan. You rethink your approach all before you've wasted a single drop of real-world effort. Imagination is not wishful thinking. It's your mind's built-in testing environment, its own private sandbox. When you use it correctly, it's one of the most powerful productivity tools you have, preventing wasted time, money, and energy. But when you ignore it, or misuse it for simple fantasy, you're essentially turning every action you take into a gamble. You're just rolling the dice and hoping for the best. This entire framework of thinking, viewing imagination as a simulator is just one part of a larger system, your mental operating system. It's the set of core cognitive functions that determine how you perceive, plan, and execute. In our next video, we're going to dive into another critical component, memory. And we're not going to talk about it as simple recall, but as a structured storage system that dictates what information your mind can access on demand and how that shapes your ability to simulate effectively. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn how to upgrade your own mental operating system, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. See you then